as part of the enforcement of the economic blockage on Niger as ECOWAS begins to implement sanctions against the military junta. Ironically, the drivers say other goods such as tomatoes, bananas, yams, and cattle are allowed to cross the border, while the onion trucks coming from Niger are not allowed. Now, we know that some of the stranded drivers who have been sharing their frustrations in a viral video was shared with us here on TV3. Have a look.
Then me 5 days. Ya bre for mumboy na ya bre na say jene no kura say ahya ase ko afinsuo ya ka ye hu ye mbo bia ni wante afide ya srem muti anka mumboy
kankan ne Ghana numbers
no bre ya say ya ka hwe yan ye say jene so ye ntibinda mumboy muti anka mumboy Ghana driver ya ba ni jet border ya 5 days nende mumboy jene ka 70 cars. Wallahi, say nim ye be. Enu kwa komu nyina ye ma.
Away from that, ECOWAS authorities have begun imposing penalties on Niger, including cutting off the nation's power energy. A journalist from Nigeria, Abdul Latif Ahmed, has been taking us through the impact of the ECOWAS actions on the ordinary people in this following report.
Against the Niger Republic as a deterrent to ensure that it relinquishes power to President Bazoum. However, my fear about cutting off power from Niger is that under the cloak of darkness, a lot of criminality, a lot of crime against humanity can be committed. Trust me, when the military takes charge, sometimes there is a totalitarian slant. There is sometimes a crush of dissent. But we see that the coup is somewhat well received, at least from the capital. We cannot say if there are internal crises in the military for which there may be other angles to the security challenges of Niger. Don't forget, Niger is a landlocked country, and once sanctions like this come, the ordinary Nigerian will feel it the most. Those who are in power are mostly shielded from some of these sanctions. So regardless of how ECOWAS decides to play its hand, it is difficult to penalize those in authority. Those who feel take the brunt the most are the ordinary citizens. They are unable to move from within Niger to outside Niger. They are unable to transact, businesses. They are almost rendered a pariah state because they are major funding partners, countries that have had policies of collaborations with them, and even the counter-insurgency plan with other West African countries will be stalemated because of the current impasse.
Let's take the main story now. The West African sub-region faces a potential crisis. Military chiefs from ECOWAS member states have been meeting over whether or not to make a military intervention in coup-trouble Niger. But what are the implications for the sub-region? Take a look at this.
The security situation in the West African sub-region is fast coming under threat following separate declarations of possible retaliations over the current situation in Niger. Elite correspondents within the Nigerian army have revealed direct orders for soldiers to move towards the northern borders of Africa's most populous nation to enforce a no-fly zone. The decision coincides with ongoing meetings currently between chiefs of the defense staff of member states over a threat by ECOWAS to reinstate ousted Mohamed Bazoum.
There are, unfortunately, emerging trends of some military takeovers in the West African region, which are, however, not seen or accepted by the international community as the norm and will never be. Ghana will continue to count on her diplomats to offer the needed support to these countries, to help them return to democratic governance, which is the norm.
The approach, however, is being questioned by Chair of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, who believes the ECOWAS intervention does not address the underlying challenges in Niger.
we shouldn't go for military intervention now. They should look at the military interventions all over the world and tell me the end state. So I don't think that we should rush into any military intervention. We should be looking for the causes of these military interventions and address them. What is happening across the Sahel is bigger than...
Niger's coup leader has been defiant, declaring that he will not bow down to pressure to reinstate deposed President Mohamed Bazoum, criticizing sanctions imposed by West African leaders as illegal and inhumane, while urging his countrymen to get ready to defend their nation.
Let's talk education now. The Komboni Technical Institute at Sogakope in the South Tongue district of the Volta region has taken a significant step forward with the establishment of a state-of-the-art technical workshop equipped with modern equipment. This milestone comes as a part of the Ghana-China initiative, which aims to enhance and renovate the equipment in technical universities and institutes across Ghana.
Since being founded in 1988 by Catholic missionaries, the Komboni Technical Institute has been at the forefront of providing technical and vocational education to the youth in the South Tongo district and beyond. The school has a current student population of 3,704. The Ghana-China project is an essential government initiative aimed at revamping technical and vocational education and training facilities to empower young individuals with employable skills. The newly established workshop boasts cutting-edge tools for welding, mechanical, automotive and electrical engineering. The Deputy Director General of TVET, David Pra, emphasized the importance of this improvement.
Government is also looking at capacity building of our teachers so that we can train them virtually across the country to be able to implement competency-based training.
Despite the intervention, the principal of Komboni Technical Institute, Adima Harry Peter, has some concerns.
The only challenge we have now is we haven't got power. Initially, we were giving a generator, but it's quite expensive to run the place with fossil fuel. So we are hoping that we'll be connected with grid power.
Through initiatives like Ghana-China, the future looks promising for the youth in the region as they acquire the skills and knowledge needed to thrive in various technical fields.
Let's do some labor stories now. Organized labor has accepted new deal from the Finance Ministry to restructure its pension funds as part of domestic debt exchange program.
On the 1st of June, government came to do a long presentation. On the basis of that presentation, we thought this is a better offer than the one rejected. But we still could not take decision on whether we should advise the pension funds to engage or to participate, because we had not seen the exchange memorandum. And once the exchange memorandum came and we assessed it, we met with the pension fund trustees, the Chamber of Corporate Trustees, and they said they have also done the analysis and they think that it is something that they are satisfied, because the new offer ensures that there is no loss in the patrimonial value. It is tradable, and also the liquidity will be there. Because you see, the first payment is due on the 22nd of August. And if you don't participate quickly, you may lose that. So all this informed them. So they advised us that they think that it is time for us to work together and for them to use their expertise to assess the new and to participate. But that decision remains with the board. It is not TUC or organized labor which take that decision. But we do not object to, if I want to answer your question, organized labor does not object to the individual corporate trustees, the boards, engaging government, and on the basis of their own assessment, they can go ahead and participate. And it's voluntary. If you're not interested, you don't participate. You can hold your old junk bonds. But it is said that it's better to actually participate in the new bond market.
Let's do some political stories now. The governing New Patriotic Party has killed another hurdle ahead of its August 26 special delegate conference. The latest challenge was with its voters register, of which another meeting has been held with the aspirants to address the grievances.
Was necessitated after details of another petition over the electoral register became public. The Allan campaign team petitioned the Elections Committee following what they said were anomalies discovered with the register. Key among the concerns were the replacement of deceased names in contravention of a directive not to tamper with the register. The Chief of Staff, Frima Osayo Pare, per the Constitution, is not entitled to vote, and a demand for clarity on the eligibility status of appointed chairpersons of the Committee of National Council.
I think that we needed clarity on. We needed to also understand some of the processes needed. Again, we have detected some key anomalies in the album, and we needed to point it out to the party as well. Again,
is the guidelines or the modalities for the elections and on the day of voting. 2 is the validation of the register, which is a normal thing that we do in an electioneering process. And the 3rd one is a proxy vote.
With that out of the way, the aspirant wants the president to walk his talk over his comment of not having a preferred candidate.
Action speaks louder than words. The optics have created a different impression. What the president could have done was either ask the chief of staff to rein them in, because that is what is creating that impression. See, sometimes it's what you communicate to the people, the optics that generate a certain perception. So for me, he's in charge, he can take the actions, and I mean, he can issue a directive, don't do this, don't do that, and they wouldn't do it.
For our president to indicate that he is not supporting any particular candidate. The thing is that we are monitoring the process.
Still within the camp of the NPP, flag-bearer hopeful of the party, Kwabena Agyapong, is bemoaning the lack of decorum in the country's political landscape. While advocating for Ghanaians to be vocal about challenges experienced in the country, he called for a departure from what he termed tough language politics.
Ghana's politics has long suffered from a lack of decorum, with a noticeable decline in respectful and dignified conduct among political actors and their supporters. The prevalence of mudslinging and character assassination often overshadows substantive policy discussions and diverts attention from critical issues that affect the nation's progress. For flag-bearer aspirant of the governing New Patriotic Party, Kwabena Agyapong, extreme political divisions coupled with intemperate language does not contribute to a healthy democratic process.
Vocal in the right way, not in the disrespectful, insulting way. I think there's too much tough language on political discourse in this country, and it is poisoning the atmosphere, and it's making good people shy away from politics. And the toughness of the discourse, the insult, the acerbic language, which sometimes dominates the airwaves, it's not something that is very helpful. I think that Ghanaians should guard our democratic process, especially looking at what is happening around us in the West Coast, especially in the Sahelian region with military takeovers all over. It is incumbent on us, it is a sacred duty for we the politicians to inspire the Ghanaian people once again, so that we can restore their confidence in democracy. We are put into office to deliver to the satisfaction of the Ghanaian people.
City authorities in Kumasi have backed down from being confrontational in its intention to rid the central business district of commercial tricycle operation. The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly and leadership of the tricycle operators have been meeting to amicably resolve the issue. Ibrahim Abubakar was at the meeting and reports.
The KMA seems to have softened its stance on the enforcement of the tricycle taxi ban. After a clash with the police for 2 days in a row, the riders have been allowed to operate freely.
An engagement by city authorities and leadership of the tricycle operators on Wednesday is showing signs of harmony.
We know that the General Assembly, who took the decision at Prempeh Assembly Hall, where we are, will also look at the situation and then take further decisions on it. But the first thing is for my brothers to just obey the rule that have been set. Then we will be able to sit down and talk. There were a few tricycles that were picked. We are going to ensure that they get released.
The operators also expect KMA to take into consideration some of their demands for a smooth exercise.
If they say they are coming for a full ban, it will bring a lot of inconveniences.
We are not comfortable with it. They should reduce the boundaries. At least if they say we should not come to Edum, it's a security zone, we are good to go. But adding Ketia, Dr. Mensah, Alaba, and those areas, no, they should reconsider their decision and close the boundaries.
The city authorities say they will start with an enforcement on Monday, August 7. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
Let's do some international news. Zimbabwe's Supreme Court clears 12 candidates from the opposition Citizens Coalition for Change to contest in this month's general election. We know that Zimbabwe will hold presidential, parliamentary and council elections on August 23. The Electoral Commission worked late into the night to approve all the 12 candidates. They include the two front-runners, President Emmerson Mnangagwa and his main rival, Nelson Chamisa. An exiled former government minister will also run as an independent. And the number of candidates is half that of 2018 after many familiar faces opted out, citing the exorbitant registration fee. Zimbabwe is facing cash shortages and an economic crisis that has eroded earnings in the country. That's all we have for you this morning. You can log on to 3news.com for more news updates. My name is Godwin Asidwa. Today is Founders Day. Wear something African and take care of yourself. Have a good morning.
I want you so bad, I'll firecracker. I want you. I wanna say yes, I can't resist. I want you. Ooh, I want you, alpha cracker. I want you so bad, alpha cracker.
Have a goodness rich in